I don't know how much of this show I can take anymore. Things are getting crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about The Promised Neverland episode 9. And my god. Things are just like, it doesn't stop. I've been waiting for an episode, or at least a part of an episode, where I think, oh, well, this is kind of lame compared to the rest. It hasn't happened yet. I hope it doesn't ever happen. It hasn't happened yet. I guess the one thing that I could say that I didn't care for about this episode was Ray's explanation as to why he knew what was going on in the house and in this whole situation. And it was this, like, infantile amnesia. And there is something like that, sort of. But he talks about being a fetus, or I don't even know, and that's not you can't remember something from when you're a fetus. That's not how that works. Babies, once they're born, like, my brother has some really early memories of when he was a baby, and that's, like, fine, whatever. Sometimes people do remember that far back. Not as a fetus. But it's interesting to know that, like, right on the other side of the gate is the facility, and all of this is one big area. So it's not like this is necessarily spread out across the world necessarily, but it's interesting to know that maybe on the other side of the wall, there really is, like, a sanctuary, or, like, maybe this is a specific area, and it's well guarded by the monsters, so nobody goes near it, but then they can't help the kids. It seems like a crazy situation. The animation in the beginning of the episode was really kind of interesting. It was a lot of behind-the-shoulder shots, and I think they even used some 3D elements, and that was actually really weird for what they've been doing up until this point. So I really appreciated that, because it really kind of accentuated the situation that they were in and made it that much more stressful, honestly. So, last episode, Emma got her leg broken by Isabella. Real crazy stuff. And we learned that Norman was the next to be shipped out. We learned the date, and it was much sooner than I thought. Turns out, Norman is being shipped out the very next day. She basically says, pack your bags, you're heading out. So basically, their plan to escape, like, a week later is null and void. They gotta figure something out. Emma doesn't want to leave Norman, or let Norman go off to be killed himself. Ray doesn't want that either. Gilda and Dan don't want that. This is just a really messed up situation that they're in. And you can tell that this is, like, affecting Norman in a really messed up way, because he's trying to keep a straight face and keep everybody kind of, like, calm, but he goes to get Emma some water, and he has a mini breakdown at the sink. While he's doing that, Emma and Ray are kind of trying to figure out a plan to somehow get Norman out of here, and they come up with a plan that is really bold and really crazy, and I'm surprised that they're even, like, I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. So their initial plan is basically just to have Norman run away. He's gonna get out of there before the shipment comes, and he's just gonna get out of there. Ray has actually finished his device to nullify the trackers, so Norman runs away, maybe hops the fence, or at least stays in the immediate area, and nullifies the tracker until everybody's ready to run away. Norman doesn't quite like this because he's afraid that Ray or even Emma would be shipped out later. He doesn't want that, so he's like, I'm just gonna take one for the team. You guys escape, I'll go kill him. I'll go let myself be killed. It is what it is. They don't care for that, and I don't care for that either, and I'm, like, honestly, no matter what this episode ended up with, I don't see Norman dying. Like, I'll be very surprised. I was surprised with Crone, but, like, at the very least, she's kind of like a secondary character. These three are the main characters. How can you even hint at them, any of them dying? In any event, they come up with a solid plan, albeit a little bit kind of a bold plan, but it seems like a good idea, ultimately, given their situation. So the first thing is Norman escapes before his shipment comes in, and he nullifies the tracker. Then, in order to keep Ray or whoever from being shipped out in his stead, Ray is going to break his arm. That way, Isabella can't just be like, oh, well, you go then. She could just basically, she can't do anything. And since all the other kids aren't quite up to their standards, the three of them, she'll have nobody to send, and that'll really throw a wrench in her plan. Ultimately, it would hopefully keep her from being able to send anybody until at least Emma was healed up. In the meantime, Ray has had Gilda and Dan kind of basically get preparations going. Gilda's making a new rope that they can replace the old rope with because that got taken away, and they're basically just getting things set up for Norman's escape. And oh boy, the escape is crazy. It happens in like the last 8 minutes of the episode. I was surprised how quick this episode honestly went. So the next day, while they're all playing outside, Norman makes a run for the wall. He's got the rope that Gilda made, and he's ready to just do it. He ties the rope around a tree and does this awesome, like, I was expecting him to like do like a grappling hook kind of thing. But, like, this actually makes a little more sense because then they can still have the rope on their side. In any event, he ties the rope to a tree and then kind of does this wall run up the side of it to get up there. And you see him basically just stop there and looking at a sea of trees. But you don't know what exactly he's looking at. He has a determined face, but it's kind of hard to tell whether he's, like, excited to go, I guess. Meanwhile, you have Ray and Emma hanging out by their tree, and the sun's starting to set, and everybody's kind of coming back together, and honestly, I knew something was going to go down. I could not possibly imagine that this episode would go their way exactly without some kind of caveat to it, and I was right. So as everybody's gathering around, Isabella notices that Norman's not around, and she kind of has a moment where she, like, freaks out for a second, and she looks at her tracking device, and Ray's like, you're not seeing his tracker, right? Are you? This is going to be really good. And then suddenly she smirks. Both Emma and Ray look really surprised, and Norman shows back up with this dead look in his eye. So, after everybody goes back into the house, Emma and Ray go and confront Norman. Why the heck is he back? Why didn't he do anything? Why didn't he disable the tracker and run away? He had the perfect chance, right? Not so fast. He reveals with a dead look in his face that there's a ravine on the other side of the wall. There is a cliff. They couldn't even possibly get over there even if they wanted to. There's no way you could hop that. There's no way you could jump that even with a running start. These are kids. It looks like even it would be tough for an adult to get over that. So basically their hopes are dashed and he's on the brink of being sent away to be killed. The episode ends with all the kids being shooken about this news, and that's just it. The episode ends, the plan failed. And honestly, presumably, at this point, they're thinking our entire plan failed. Even if, let's say, Norman gets sent off and they could continue on with their original plan, they don't know the extent of this cliff, and they are in real tough shape here. This was, honestly, should have been expected. You would, like, just because there's a giant wall there doesn't mean that can keep kids in. So what makes you think that, like, the monsters wouldn't build, like, basically a moat to keep the kids in even further just in case the kids got over the wall? Come on now. So that begs the question as to how they are going to solve this issue. And what happens to Norman now that he's back? Now, unless I'm really, really wrong about this, and I honestly thought Crone wouldn't go this soon anyways, but I don't see Norman being killed off. He's one of the main three characters. He's in the intro all the way through. He's even in the end credits, and I'm pretty sure that's a new ending for this episode. So I don't see the three main characters dying at all until, at the very least, they get out or are much further into the story. I am super excited to see where the next episode goes. How do they resolve Norman going? Like, he's not gonna go, I hope. Or if he does, is there some kind of weird, like, situation where they make a deal? Or what? Does Isabella suddenly, like, come up and be like, I lied to see if you guys would do anything? Or does she know that they even tried to make this escape? It's crazy. This is a nuts episode, and I'm super excited to see what happens after this. I give this episode 2 thumbs up, even though I have not been scoring these episodes in any particular fashion. 2 thumbs up. Alright, now your turn. Let me know what you thought about this episode down below in the comments section. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, thumbs up yourself, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in another video. Bye bye.